Well, hey there! Welcome back to Deer Hunting Camp. So as you can see, we're doing a little bit of practicing with the muzzleloader right now, and that is because for the first time since I think our very first video here, we're going to be doing a little bit of black powder hunting, and something I think I've figured out, even at this distance, we start to have a little bit of bullet drop. So for instance here, we actually have to aim a little bit low, and I say aim low, but really, it's that the gun is below the center of the screen and the bullet's just going through the exact center. When we're shooting out here, we're aiming with the top of the front sight post as opposed to aiming low with it. So now knowing that, we should be in good shape, and maybe, with a little bit of black powder hunting, we can finally accomplish that goal of getting 6 deer in 6 days. So we're headed back to PSR Pines. It's my favorite map. It seems to just get such consistent deer movement. And if we go ahead, I named it 12 Point Acres this time, get this going, we'll go get the food plot planted, look for sheds, all that good stuff, hang stands, and we'll see if adding the muzzleloader hunting is that final missing piece. We've been getting 5 deer in 6 days. We can't seem to get 6 for 6. And by the way, what I think makes this map so good, it's just got one plot, so it's one draw to all the deer, and it's also thick cover right in this area. So the deer bed close to the plot, I think that's what allows us to see so many in a short period of time. And for our purposes, when we're trying to kill a lot of deer, that is what we need. So we're doing soybeans once again. That's just what I find is the easiest because you can see over top of those and trail cams can see over top of those. So if for some reason we're not hunting here, maybe we see a buck and we're going to go get down and chase it, we still have the ability to monitor the plot with that. And what I've found works best is just going around the outside of the plot first, making sure all that's planted, and then just doing rows because it's way easier to tell the width of what we're planting, and we're going to miss less stuff. And I think with this pass, we ought to be good. Talked about this in the last video, but I always like to get out, make sure there's no big obvious bear spots. Another nice thing about PSR Pines, most of this plot isn't covered in high weeds, so it's really easy to see that darker dirt of a missed spot. Looking pretty good to me. Maybe missed there? Let's hit that real quick. Should be all good now. So, we can move on to the scouting stage. I'm hoping we can get some good, like, crisscrossing deer trails with this, because when we get 2 crisscross deer trails, our luck in terms of just buck encounters goes way up. So staying loaded on the UTV. Oh, trails are... There's actually a couple of them, but most of them are on the left side of the map. Now, deer trails and like the pine ground texture show up the same on the map, so that's why we can't see exactly where they're going. I see one that goes in right off the main road on like the sort of east end of the plot. So we'll start with that. It's going to take a little bit of footwork to figure out where we want trail cams and stuff, and I kind of like that. There's a decent shed. We always like to see that. Oh, and a doe. And a buck. And this is why I think PSR Pines is so good. Not only is it just one food plot that attracts all the deer that we talked about, they just seem to hang out pretty close to it, which is why we tend to see so many. So right up here at the end of this road is where that trail looks like it comes in. That's going to be it right there. So, what do we got for trees? I mean, it goes right underneath that one. I don't like to be that close. Not that they spook because they're that close, it's just tough. Actually, right here might be the spot. Go ahead and do that. Jump up and take a look. There is the trail coming underneath it. I think that'll be just fine. It's nice and clear back here too, so we can really see him coming. And naturally got a good view of the plot, so it looks like... Yeah, there's not any others coming into the plot. A bunch down there like crossing the creek and stuff though, so we'll get cameras hung on our way back. By the way, this trail kind of like skirts the edge of the plot, so you can see it turns right as it almost gets to it and goes back that direction. It might link up with the one that we already hung a stand for, but a stand on this side probably isn't a bad idea, especially for gun season. Like, here's an interesting thing. There's a trail that comes through right here and crosses the road. You literally have no clue that it's there, other than maybe if it's the same one that runs out into that oak, that's the sort of reddish color on the east end. So I guess we'll get a camera here at the very least. I mean, we are running into deer absolutely everywhere. It's another one. We got cameras equipped so I can't just pull up the binoculars. I can't, it's not even spooked. It's just hanging out. I think it's a doe. Yeah, there's its head. It's so cool they're actually there in scouting season too. So this is close to where that trail skirts the edge of the plot. I kind of think it's a decent gap here. What if we hang it on this side of the tree? really good view of the plot, maybe like a good rifle stand. And then, can we actually see the trail? Yes, that is it right there. I like it. One more stand then, and we still need 2 more cameras. One probably just monitoring the plot, and really one over by the probably archery stand. That one wouldn't be bad. By the way, we kicked up another deer. So I guess she was laying in the food plot as well. This could be a really interesting year, and one of the things I love about this game is the fact that it generates deer trails every time, and they're in different places every time. This is our 3rd or 4th video. Is that the same one? Anyway, our 3rd or 4th video on PSR Pines, and the deer trails are always completely different. So it makes every season as we're going to run over a deer unique. Now, I'll be honest, I really don't intend to use this stand, especially because it's right next to the fence, and if you shoot a deer and it runs over the fence, there's nothing you can do about it. If we go here, we can climb into this. Maybe a rifle spot, who knows. But it's a nice look at the entire plot, and with that, I think it's time to see if this setup, all the work we've done, hanging tree stands, trail cams, all that, can lead to finally going at 6 for 6. Ideally with buck kills, I would take it though if we need it. There's a shed right there. How did I not see that? Second nice shed, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, not too bad. Second one's definitely a whole lot better. So, we'll head on up here. Typically, we park in the creek bed there, and that seems to be where the deer bed a lot of the time. So we jump them sometimes, which is actually how we killed our 2nd big buck in the game ever with the gun. But if we just buzz on up here, there's a doe already. So we're just gonna just stop there. It may actually go to the plot, and we'll just kind of slow walk our way in. Got a doe just kind of cruising through the plot here, too. Oh, 2 does. I don't think we spooked that one. Yeah, she just stopped it. I don't know what she was doing. So 3 different does, I think. There's a buck, too. Not a big buck, but depending on how things go, one that I'd be very much willing to punch a tag with if needed, but going the other way for now. That doe's hopping the fence. I kind of think he's going to do the same. And actually, there are 2 different forkies, which probably isn't a great sign. Like, I wouldn't imagine there's too many more bucks around, but we'll give it some time. Maybe there's somehow a 3rd one. I mean, really. Gonna go right to the base of the tree and stop. We're gonna try to hold out hope here. You know, I think we might go for that. I can't see him now. There's a 3rd forkhorn out here, and I just gotta think, the odds that we find a 4th buck really aren't that good. So, is the other forky right under us? Why don't we go for that, because that'll just make it simpler. Looked like a nice right behind the shoulder shot. Hate to take a forky that early in the hunt, but 3 different ones? I just doubt there's some stud walking around here, you know, in addition to that. So, what the? Okay, I haven't seen that before. Maybe we were back? It wasn't as far forward as I typically aim, but he kind of just hung out there for a second and then dropped. So, ideal? Maybe not, but we have 1 buck tag filled with archery equipment already. I think if we can... Wow. There's a shed laying there the size of his front quarter. What are the odds of that? Alright, that actually worked out pretty good. I'm happy with that now. Anyway, we were maybe a smidge back. You can see where that shot impacted. But if we can get 1 more archery tag filled, I feel decent about our chances of going at 6 for 6. So, just going to get him back out here onto the road a little bit. Not too much dragging necessary. And by the way, I still have no idea if the sheds have any indication of what might actually be on the map. I don't think they do, because I believe it's random spawns every time. We'll pay attention, see how many forkies we see throughout the duration of this video, but 1 down already. Hardly the monster that left these sheds, but at least it is a buck. It does give us 1 plaque over here. He's 97 inches, 139 pounds, actually as forkhorns go. Not terrible. Just like that, on to what'll be the final day of archery season with this 2 archery, 2 muzzleloader, 2 rifle system we got going. So I don't know if it's good or bad news, because last time worked out just fine, but got in here without spooking any deer this time. A lot of times, yep, we got one right out there already. That looks like a doe, I believe. Another one, too. Both are does. But I like the look of that. Got a another fork horn. I think we might actually get to watch him jump the fence here. Just kind of coming up to it. Going at an angle. There it is. Hopefully we can do a little better than that this time. And unless we see 3 again, we're at least going to hold out for a while. Tell you what, though, I do feel like we got our stand in the exact right spot. Because that's at least going to be borderline archery range by the time he crosses through. Does that trail split? It does. I didn't even notice that. We're going to be fine this time, but that's something to keep in mind. If they're coming up from this way, they may well pass just out of range, or we got to get that shot right at the fork. So, what do you know? He's going to walk right under us again. About the same as the last one we shot, I'd say. This is the 3rd time he's walked right underneath the stand. I haven't seen any other deer yet, but we're not even quite halfway, so I'm going to keep on waiting it out, but we can always, you know, have a little fun with it. It's the first time I've done that where they look right up at us. I hate to do it, but we're getting late enough in the session now. He's the only buck we've seen, and I think we put in too much work, like getting all the stands hung, trail cams, everything, to just be in the exact right spot and watch a buck go underneath us and get away. So when he comes over here, and I imagine he's going to try to hit this trail, but regardless, yeah, kind of pick a direction, go out that way. We'll let him get good and close so we don't mess this up. That's actually like a decent length shot for the bow. We should have just went for that. I think that's him I hear, right? Not another deer around. He should, if I had to guess, veer back our way. Get a grunt in case that helps. Yeah, it looks like he might cut to the right. It's gonna be iffy to say the least. Well, maybe he's not coming this way at all. Man, what a way to have unravel. It's always our second archery hunt, too. It was right there, like that little moment of hesitation. We should have just shot. That is going to cost us any chance at going 6 for 6. So now, obviously, the goal turns to trying to get a new PV buck, or multiple big ones. And I guess we'll see if we can do that with a gun, because it is dark. So we got in here. There's a doe already in the plot. And I feel like that's about that range. Not that we're going to shoot it, by the way, but about the range we'd aim right with the top of the front sight post. It was something like that. It's probably a little bit beyond that, even. But we had no problem having deer close. It was just a matter of hesitation and, frankly, hoping we could get one a little better than a forky. But at some stage, we got to separate that goal of go 6 for 6 and also try to get good bucks, too. 3 different does out here. And another fork horn. We surprised. There's a decent buck. Finally, a little solid basket rack 8. Gonna be in the 120 range. Looks like he's just kind of feeding there on the edge of the plot. Now the whole thing is, how close will he get? And how much of our limited muzzleloader skill are we gonna have to put to use? That's weird. All the does just kind of vacated the plot. Buck still kind of working the edge there. Nothing on trail care. I don't know what caused that. I've always said I don't think wind ever seems to matter. Because I kind of think it's just a static animation. The wind always looks good. So, I got no clue why they did that. They didn't run far. Like, they're still just chilling there, but I don't know. I was hoping that meant a big buck was coming in. That doe was standing there. I don't think it was buck related. There's no way that shed was there, right? That has to be new. It's literally right on that trail. I think that might be him. If it's not him, it's a similar size buck. Kind of like scraping up the ground over there a little bit. Let's get a quick look. It's obviously like a 120-ish 8 again. I think it might be the same thing either he or a very similar buck was doing on the other side. And like I said, the closer the better with this, because it's not something we've ever successfully done. See if when he maybe crosses the road we can go for this. Go ahead and get this shouldered. I actually really like the shouldering animation for the muzzleloader, by the way. So he's getting down on the road. Feels like that's about the range where we aim low. Gonna stop. That actually looked really cool. So, if we aim properly with a muzzleloader, we can do pretty good in black powder season, and finally, a good buck. And here we go again, like, it's gonna be that one archery hunt, isn't it? It's gonna be that one, it's always the second day that ends up giving us trouble. First muzzleloader buck, super, like, thin beams. I don't think it's always the exact same rack. I don't remember the basket rack 8s being that thin. Curious what he'll score. By the way, there's that shed. 3 of them have been nice sheds. Like, I sure hope we can get a good buck that looks something like that. Yeah, to me, that just looks a little more spindly than what I'm used to. G2s are fairly thick, and the 3s aren't bad, but definitely gets, like, thin out towards the end. See if he ends up being less than 120, or, like, let's say, right at 120. I mean, look at the size of the sheds we've recovered. Just find one with antlers like that still on his head, we'll be in good shape. That's our first ever non-trophy buck harvested with black powder. He's 115. Okay, so that actually makes sense. I do think that is a little bit more spindly than like the 120-ish bucks then. 148 pounds. We've got 2 bucks down. 1 more day of muzzleloader to go. That's a big looking buck. Let's get in the stand first. I think we might have a monster out there. Get the binoculars, because I think he's about to walk kind of out of sight. I stopped right behind that tree. I'm fairly confident that had antlers about like the sheds that we picked up. Oh yeah. Still haven't gotten to see a lot, but that is not a 120. Dang. That's a good buck. And I don't know what happens. So if we watch them, they just kind of disappear. I don't know if they spawn, like let's say elsewhere on another trail. I have no idea. But we got a target. Just hope he shows. I'm like convinced, by the way, these sheds actually spawn throughout the season. There's another one, like in a spot that I can't imagine we would have missed it. There's a buck. And like, he's not bad, but when you see the other one, not a lot of interest in shooting the 120. Got a forky coming by. So, we've already seen 3 different bucks. Of course, 2 of them are in or very close to muzzleloader range. The other one, I don't think it was ever even on the property we can hunt. So that makes 4 bucks. That's like a 120-ish again. And I know it's not the same one because that one is standing literally right there. And that forky is still around? Just, man, I really, really hope he comes from somewhere. Man, it's cool to watch him go past the trail cams and stuff, especially when it's like a decent buck, but you just keep on hoping one of these is going to have what I think was a big 10 point, if I'm not mistaken. And I have seen no sign of such a thing. Man, I hate that we've reached this point, but we're going to have to, if we can, just get this like 120-ish buck. And I'm not even sure he's going to get into decent muzzleloader range, but we're at the point, if we do get him, it's going to be shoot him, grab what I realized are 2 sheds laying over there, and then get him back to camp before dark. It's going to be pushing it as is. Looking like we'll get a shot. Now, we can't actually shoulder the gun. What deer is that? That's the little forkhorn. It's going to have to be like all the way out here. Oh boy, when you start to hear crickets, you are out of time. So I can't move any further to the left than this. We kind of got 2 options. It's either get out or hope he comes straight across. Where's he at? Perfectly behind the tree right now. I hear him. That's a better check, but yeah, that's a doe. No miracle big buck there. He's gonna walk right underneath us. We got to go. Like, we gotta get him and move. Coming out underneath us here. I hope we don't hit this limb. Better let him at least clear that. It is pushing being dark. Oh my. Okay, that should be underneath it good enough. That dropped him. Wow, that was right behind the smoke. Let's get down and get moving. I don't even know if we have time to grab them sheds. I don't know if they disappear. I mean, what the heck. I guess we're going to go for it. One is there. One is there. And did I get it? Oh, no more room. We already got too many. Can we get back in time? It is... I don't think we can. And when the session ends, it's just done. So, it's either we claim this, or we're not going to get it. No, it's laying like right here in front of the stand somewhere. Did we get them loaded up? I think so. Just going to go. Oh boy, I don't know. We made it here. Get out. Get him on the thing. All right, it counts. 119 inches, 157 pounds. By the way, it will just kick us out of the session when we're done here. Oh, how do I... There we go. I saw another shed. Not that we can pick it up. Laying right here. Like, I don't even know how there's that many. Got the whole thing. Oh, so 5 is the max. And we've seen at least 7. I can't believe we're still in the session. Oh, it actually... Maybe it's related to getting out of the stand or something? I've absolutely had it end earlier than this. Well, either way, there's our buck, all the sheds, and we're on to rifle season. I hate that that big one got away, but at least we got a tag punch. So we're on to firearm season. Gonna go ahead and park this here. We have shot a big buck coming running out right after we park, so just gonna check around. No sign of such a thing, and we hung that other stand for gun season. I see no reason to use it. Pretty much every deer except that big buck has gone right underneath this stand out here, and frankly the big buck was just on the neighbor property anyway. It didn't really matter. So already we got a doe cruising on through there. No sign of a buck at the plot just yet, which might be the first time all season we've had that. Just gonna go ahead and hit a little grunt, and like it seems like every season, we're at least somewhat coming down to the wire for getting a big one. We got 2 days left, including this one. And I don't know, maybe somehow a buck like that one that got away shows back up. That's a good buck. Okay, so we got something here, but I don't know necessarily that we can get that with a 30-06. We know, like, limbs and branches and all that stuff, they're a big problem for shots getting through. And he's going straight away from us. Come on, just turn back. That's like a 12-point rack? I think he maybe... Did he turn our way? He was moving to the right there. Now he's going back left. I hope that means he spun around and he's coming towards us. Not so much. Man, I just sure hope this doesn't turn out like the last one. I'm gonna hit a grunt. Now he's coming towards us. Just keep on coming in. We don't need much with the 30-06, but I do want him a little closer than that, because again, they jumped the fence. Good shot or not, we can't get him. Speaking of jumping the fence. Oh boy. I really just... There's no other game that gives you that helpless feeling. We just gotta hope he gets a little closer. I mean, look how crazy wide he is. He's back on our side of the fence. I mean, literally, if he would get out into here somewhere, I'd be pretty convinced we can make that shot. Sort of just doing that same thing, though, where he's moving our direction a little bit. I just don't think it's quite enough. Do I feel like we could get that? If he stopped in a good opening, maybe. Slowly but surely getting a little bit closer. I'm not going to take a decent shot opportunity for granted. He comes like through here. I think we'll go for it. Even kind of leaning our way a little bit more. Regardless of where he's moving, that same thing applies. When we get a good quality shot opportunity, we are absolutely going for it. He's kind of coming back out that way. I think this is going to be our spot right through here. There we go. God, that was intense. He just refused to ever commit. And that's why we were going for that shot the second we got the opportunity. We've been so fortunate. When we've shot big bucks, it's been decently early in the hunt, so we can take the time to like get good screenshots, get him set up for like a nice solid look at him. Now he's a little further back. There he is. That is a really nice buck. And like I said, I think that's the 12-point rack, because the 2 and the 3 are really close. That's 3, 4, 5 plus the brow tine, 6x6. It's a really good looking buck. I wish he wasn't in that grass, but we've been able to get him into good positions for screenshots before. Dang. This is my favorite part too. When we finally get a good one, dragging him out. I prefer to not have him all glitch through the ground like that, but is what it is. That's a pretty good look there. Got a little grass like through the nose and stuff. It shows the width of the buck really, really well. Still gonna mess with this a little bit. We got plenty of time. I mean, that is a good looking deer. You can see it was a smoke shot there right in the crease of the shoulder. Considering everything, with him walking through there and frankly been a little bit nervous to take the shot, because I imagine if we miss, it's pretty well over. We saw with the big buck there at the last day of Muzzleloader. He never showed back up. What do? So with that, pretty good view coming up here. I think it's time to take him back to camp. Get a quick screenshot or two of him actually on the back of the UTV. I think that is the biggest rack you can get, at least currently. Looks pretty darn good to me. And 162, I want to say, is our best. I think there's a shot we could have that beat. So, moment of truth for that. By the way, the big sheds we found pretty well match his frame. I still don't think that means anything, because the other big buck we saw was like a mainframe 10. Regardless, about 180 pounds. We've certainly had heavier. He comes in at 168. So he is our new biggest whitetail here in deer hunting camp. And they've all been with the rifle. So close last time in archery, so close this time in muzzleloader. Still rifle kills, 182 pounds, 168 score. And we got a real chance here to actually still get our PB in terms of total inches of antler in one season. Right now, we are sitting at 499. Literally like anything better than a Forky. And we would surpass that, and hey, who knows? Maybe we can do a whole lot better than that. Got a decent little Forky running across right in front of us. We could just do that, but let's see if we can do a little bit better. Just had a deer jump the fence over there. Got a doe. That's a 120-ish? No, that's a Forky. Look better at first. So, gotta hope there's at least a third buck around, because there's no way that's the Forky that we saw that we jumped coming in. By the way, at least for now, it is positively dead. Now, we got plenty of time here, but there is not a thing moving. Which was kind of how the last hunt started. Then that big one showed up, but I hope there's something like that waiting at the end of this one. I mean, finally there's a buck. And I'm not gonna lie, it might be go time with that, because there has been not a darn thing moving. I don't think we should go for that shot. That might be the one that we saw jump the fence. I thought that may have been a 6-point. I can't tell if this guy maybe is as well. I'm hoping he doesn't just start trotting when he comes out of there. If he'll just walk a little bit past this tree, we should be good. That's what we're looking for. It's still going to be close. I believe 586 is our best in terms of total antler inches in one season. This guy goes over 87. We'll have it. We've definitely had below that, but I think there's a good chance he does. I can't lie though, kind of lackluster when I think 3 videos in a row we've killed a real nice buck on the last day. Doesn't have brow tines. It's gonna be close. I still think we got a shot at it. And by the way, as we haul him back here, that's gonna be our 5th plaque. And that second archer hunt where we could have shot one about this size. What does he score? 81 is not gonna be our best. Well, had we killed that one in archery, it would have easily been, but unfortunately, no luck there. Tried to hold out for a better one. So close to going 6 for 6. I don't even know where that last plaque would fit. It feels like it'd be on the end. That is still going to have to wait for a future date. So let's go back, take a look at the eval real quick for this season. No surprise, it is the outstanding. We had 4-ish acres of food plot planted. We had our 5 cameras, 3 stands, 5 deer out of 6, 1 big buck harvest, and 580 inches of antler. 6 away from being our best season ever. But I've been having so much fun with this. I really want to get my own map to work. I had made a map that was somewhat effective. I actually got deer trails to generate. But then when I tried to do a campaign, none generated. So I gotta mess with that a little bit more. Looking forward to that. But on that note, that is gonna do it for this video. As always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.